Good afternoon. This is Constance from Mrs. T Weddings, and today we are continuing the Lockdown Live series, and we are talking about cake, one of my favourite subjects, especially at the moment while I'm still on my blinking January diet because I didn't do very well in January. But don't worry, the Peloton has been delivered. I am getting on track. Things are going well. But yeah, today it's all about cake. So I have the lovely Denise who's going to be joining me shortly. And Denise runs Couture Sugar Designs with her daughter, Rachel. And I am just going to invite her on now with us any second now. And we're going to be hearing all about how their cake process works, kind of designs they work with, and how they... sorry, I'm just going to invite her. Sorry, just had a slight technical issue there. And how, and yeah, how they work, what fashions they're seeing, what kind of flavours they have, the types of styles they have. So lots of things to talk about. And we're just waiting. And hopefully we've got Denise. Just need to flip your camera, Denise. I think you're there. We're getting you. Oh, where are we?
Moving phones.
There we are. How are you, Denise?
It went all crazy, but good morning.
Hello, how are you? How are you?
Yeah, we're good. We're just recovering from the Valentine's big post out yesterday, and
you had a big flurry of orders, didn't you?
Yeah, we did. We had a big Etsy order.
Brilliant.
That 30 parcels went out yesterday, something like that.
Oh wow, that must have been some serious kitchen time to get that all sorted.
Why I'm not in the studio today, because it's still, well, we're now getting ready for the weekend, so it's all systems go. There's normally a studio, but yeah.
Oh, brilliant. So tell us a little bit, while we're talking about Valentine's boxes, tell us a little bit about what went into them. What did you send out?
Fine. So we the main thing that was really lovely to do was a big deluxe heart, which own hammer, so you can smash it, and when you it, there's more hearts and marshmallows and goodies inside it. If someone wanted to it, they could have done that, but nobody took us up on it, which I was really disappointed about. Yeah, we sold quite a lot of those, which was good. And we did the geometric heart cookie boxes and all that sort of thing. But what was really lovely was a lot of our own brides to cut past, and then other halves were all shopping. So every time an order came in, Rachel and I were like, "Oh wow, look! It's so it's this bride."
That's so special. That means so much. It really does. It shows the relationship you build with your couples. So that I love, definitely.
Yeah, it's really good.
So I was just telling everyone that you're a mother-daughter partnership, and you're here. You're in the world of cakes, and you're based in Buckinghamshire. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah, we're just outside Aylesbury in Aston Clinton, one of the villages.
Oh yeah, lovely village. Yeah,
and
great.
Rachel's the creative, absolutely designer, and does everything to do with helping the couple decide what their perfect wedding cake is. I sort of do all the admin bits and the shopping, going there, consultations, serving up tasters and bubbles.
Keep the wheels turning.
Good partnership, yeah.
Brilliant. I love that. And so tell us a little bit about the company. How long have you been running it? What kind of, because you're a specialist in wedding cakes, aren't you? Yeah, you've just had to diversify, like we all have, to we love the Rachel fan club. That's so cute. I love that. Well done, Laura. So yes, so you have had to diversify a bit because of lockdown, much like all of us. So that's where your Valentine's boxes have come in, but maybe they're here to stay, given the success of them. I don't know.
Who knows? I mean, what Valentine's boxes were things like the things that we do for favours at weddings or dessert. So things like the and the personalised cookies and all that type of thing, the gorgeous cakesicles and that, and hearts that have become so popular over the last year. So Rachel's on doing that, and we have done some really beautiful weddings with dessert tables. So although it's diversification to have them going out in boxes and posting and things like this, in actual fact it's just the same product but in a different
format. Yeah, absolutely. So you're normally doing wedding cakes. So tell us a little bit about the business. Yeah, that's where we were.
So Rachel set up the business about 7 years ago. Been making cakes since before university. Went to university to be a social worker.
Oh.
Swiftly got what she was going to do, and graduated, and immediately set up the business the next day. Literally the next.
Oh my goodness, that's insane.
I know. Well, she just spent all her time at university, making cakes for pleasure and relaxation, and entered competition, doing quite well, sort of at Cake International and things like that. So it was the do. We started like everybody, at a certain level. But actually, over the years, it's become absolutely Rachel's passion that she makes beautiful, primarily iced cakes. That's where her is. We now only provide rest cakes at 3 Barns, where we're preferred suppliers.
Right.
So cake is just at 3 Barns. Because I love working with those guys, and sometimes that bride does want that semi-naked cake.
With the barn venues, quite often the semi-naked does suit that environment more than the iced. And
you can do it with a twist. You can still make it beautiful. And most of those do have some of the desserts to around the table as well. But primarily it's Rachel's love is for ice cakes and buttercreams, beautiful buttercreams with some special twists on them.
Amazing.
It only does a maximum of 2 cakes a week normally, but 20 or 22.
I know all of our rules have had to be bent a little bit, haven't they? Because otherwise you can't keep everybody happy.
Those couples we've been talking to since like 2018, and to suddenly say to them, no, we're fully booked. How can you do that when you're so forward to making a beautiful cake? And relationship, you just can't. So we're just saying to everybody, we'll make it work.
Exactly.
And a lot of our couples have been fantastic as well. They've converted some of their cake into features that are, can be done in polystyrene, so that do some things in advance. They'll still have cake to cut on the day in the cake, but just be careful about that. But the passion is definitely for beautiful and luxurious.
Oh, that's what we like. Lovely. Good. And so with wedding cakes, obviously, with what's going on at the moment, things are changing a little bit. We're not seeing the same traditional big weddings that we've had historically. Hopefully they'll come back, but it's not going to be immediate, let's be honest. So are you seeing a trend in the types of cakes or the style of cakes that your brides and grooms are selecting and choosing at the moment?
Yeah. What's been interesting is that even with the smaller weddings, people have still wanted beautiful. So the sugar flowers, which are, one of the main sort of strands for Rachel that she loves to build into her cakes, have still featured. And it's about beautiful colour as well. I think that when the cake is smaller, we did a fabulous cake recently, which was all shades of emerald green.
Oh, wow.
Was just stunning, but the flowers finish it off, and even if you've got a small cake, the flowers can be the finishing touch. And we've seen a trend as well, a way that even if they're having the smaller wedding, they still want a cake that's going to absolutely represent what they wanted on the day.
They still want the wow factor, don't they?
They do. So they're not with fresh flowers. They're saying, no, we were going to spend that money anyway, so let's just have something absolutely thing. Weddings even had a full dessert table for for a barn wedding, which was meant to feed about 120 people. They had 30 guests. That it all went because what they said was they could. Fascinating, because they couldn't have the band and all of that side. Everyone sat around chatting. They went on as long as normal, and they just all grazed and ate cake. And
it was a cake party.
And so yes, that's that was lovely as well. So
fabulous.
For the trends, though, I think we are seeing. I mean, even in the barns, we're seeing much more ice cakes being requested than for the rustics. And people moving towards that because you can make them look so natural. The ice cakes,
and put in some fake layers really that aren't real cake, and then you can still have the grandeur but not be worried about the waste of cake at the end of it. And because I think that's one thing a lot of my brides are saying is well, I'm only some, you know, one in particular I'm thinking of, she's getting married in 22, she's only having 70 guests, hopefully. And she's saying, well, I don't want, you know, an enormous amount of cake. We're not really cake people, if I'm honest, but I want something beautiful, but it's going to taste gorgeous, and everyone's going to be able to still get a finger, but it's not about volume of cake to eat. It's about the look, you know, and the drama, but also still being delicious, of course. And so, you know, talking about putting in, like you said, those fake layers makes such a big difference, because you still get the grandeur without the waste.
Right. I mean, we always say it's 50-50. It's 50% taste and 50% look. And if it goes out of balance at all, then you won't get the cake of your dreams, because everyone's got to want to love eating it. We've done that, but I think also a lot of the venues that we all work at have got very high ceilings, and so if you find a cake in them, they just look wrong, you know.
Yeah, they get lost, don't they?
You know, it isn't, you know, I don't know about you, but the first place I go to when I go to any event, whatever it is I go and look at the cake, and everyone photographs and all that sort of thing. So, you know, people still want that. So yes, the ways of doing it in terms of either putting the fake tears in or making it into a dessert, you know,
a whole station,
those work really well. And we've also
definitely
boxes for people, so where they've perhaps had people that they can't, you know, invite to the wedding. A lot of couples are just saying, right, okay, we have a beautiful box and we don't want to send a finger, we want to send a slice of cake. So and also quite a lot of people are carrying on to the next day now, so that they're mainly having their own family over the next day for a sort of a continuation, if they can and again, so they keep it here.
Brilliant. Then it's just ready to go for the next day. Exactly. Brilliant. Well, that's great. And so are you finding that you know, alternatives to cakes are also a bit popular? I saw somebody just wrote macaroons. You know, is there a bit of a trend that, you know, potentially not having a cake is something that I know you said about the dessert stations, but I always think of that with a cake in the middle. So, you know, is it a trend to go away from the cake entirely?
Everybody seems to still want the cake in the middle. Isn't it? You know, I mean, at a wedding, there are two moments in the day when all of your guests and family and the people you love are around you. One is the actual ceremony itself, and the second one is when you cut the cake. So most of our couples, even if they are not cake people, that always makes us smile, because the cake still always goes. We are still finding that whatever they do, they still want the cake. Even those people that opt for a cheesecake seem to still want to have a cake. You know, we often sit to set up alongside a big cheese display. People are still wanting that as well. So, you know, I mean, we do sometimes get asked for the macaron towers and things like that, but that's not our area. There are lots of people that's their speciality. But in terms of making a beautiful dessert table, we can do that. And we've got because when we we always loan a stand with our cake as part of the package, because we find that venue staff leave a lot to be desired in the main. They, you know, venues tend to go for these little sort of silver flat things that
they're pretty basic,
and they've got no height or beauty. So we've got a range of stands that we always loan out as part of our but we've also got all the dessert things as well.
Great.
So a rose gold, we've got a gold, we've got a diamante, we've got a glass. So we've
fabulous.
got, they can build up the whole display without having to sort out that as well. So
that makes a massive difference. I know, definitely. And also, if you know the size that you're working with the perspex holes or whatever, you can make the cones or whatever it is to size, rather than, you know, on the day we arrive we go, not gonna fit.
You know me so well. That is just so right, because that's exactly it. When they sit and come to their consultation, that's exactly what we talk about, and Rachel shows them what they can have and they choose that, and it's all part of their anticipation of their day as well. And everywhere we go, we're looking for things that might fit into the dessert table. We've bought so many random.
Have you become slightly obsessed with, this one would work?
Just for all that sort of storage. Beds now with storage, it's ridiculous.
Oh, that's brilliant. Fabulous. And so let's talk about, because I think, you know, cake is obviously one of the things that all couples love. And whether they're cake people or not, it's still a fun area of wedding planning. It's, you know, it's creative, it's yummy, it's a nice thing, and it's usually something that you can agree on. It doesn't usually cause World War III between the couple to get to a decision sometimes. And so with that in mind, it's, you know, it's one of the things that I think, especially, I mean, it sounds awful, but quite often grooms really come to life when it comes to the cake element. Like my husband, he suddenly got the strongest opinion in the world about things on that day. Every other day, so whatever you want, dear. But that on cake day, it was all about what he wanted, which is fine. But you know, it's a difference. It works at a different pace from everything else in the wedding planning, I think, is my point. And so what I guess would be really useful for the couples out there is to understand the journey from seeing you on Instagram, you know, seeing you at one of their friends' weddings, and then dropping you an email. How does it then go from there to their wedding day?
Okay, so I think, like everything in a wedding, your cake supplier has to be someone that you connect with. Yeah. It absolutely has. I mean, we love meeting. We still love wedding fairs. All the social media is great to build up the picture, but the wedding fairs, we miss them so much because, you know, that's special. Yeah. I love the fact that, you know, we're on preferred supplier lists at some venues, only venues we really love and like working with, because that's right. And they attract couples that like,
it's the same type, isn't it? Yeah, you really see a theme of the same types of couples getting married in the same types of venues.
Yeah, so that's sort of almost always the start of our journey, or referrals. We start off with, we want to know what they want, and is what they want what we can do? You know, is it both going to enjoy doing? Rachel only takes on the cakes that she feels that she absolutely wants to do and will love. It's really important to her. So we find out what they want to do. We try and send them a lot of information. So when the inquiry comes in, they don't just get a one-liner reply or get sent off to another site. We give them a lot of information about what's available and how it works. So we talk about price up front as well, because everybody's got a spreadsheet and we totally respect that.
So got to work with that budget.
You've got to work with the budget, and you've got to work with each other's expectations.
Yeah, exactly.
We do try in the nicest possible way to work that out together right at the beginning, because those things cemented at the beginning, it can go so badly wrong. We've learned that along the way. So when we've done all of that, then the way we work is that we do charge for our consultations. The price of the wedding. Again, we learnt that a few years ago, that, you know, it's the mutual respect thing, and that we're going to spend a couple of hours with you, you know, making you beautiful cakes, serving you bubbles, and helping you design something that's absolutely for your dreams. Then and so we just charge £40, which doesn't, but it just, you know, it works, and that's their final invoice. So they come along to us. So we live out in Aston Clinton. Rachel's got a dedicated studio here.
Brilliant.
Built for nothing except weddings, wedding cakes. That's all it does, or cakes. But we actually meet in our home, and we all the cakes and all the designs. We know who's coming, and so we've got all the dummy cakes and everything's laid out, and all. So it means that they can surround themselves with cake for that time, and every time Rachel's talking about a feature or a style, she can show that to people. And that's what's been really hard with the Zoom calls the last 12 months, because it's feeling and touching, is it? You know, it's just so currently we're posting out samples in advance, but normally they get to taste it all on the day.
Brilliant.
And you know, people say, how soon do I need to book a cake? Well, you need to book a cake as soon as you found a cake maker you like. It's just like your florist. We've all only got so much time in the diary, and you can't wait and see, you know. So, you know, but once you've booked your venue, your flowers, your band, your cake are all people that you want to get in the diary as soon as possible. limited availability.
Yeah, especially like you say, you only do 2 weddings a week. You're not, you know, one of these kitchens that can just fire out like hundreds of cakes at a time. And so if, you know, if you've already got to, you know, bar next year, this year, you know, if you have got 2 in the diary, then you're going to have to turn those clients away, however much you may adore them and love their venue and everything else. So, you know, it is one of those things that people are like, oh, we'll sort the cake out later. But actually, you know, you don't need to make those decisions, right? You don't need to do anything, but you need to get that date in the diary with the person that you want to be your cake maker.
Absolutely right. And so we just take a holding deposit for that.
Yeah.
Just, you know, that's us committed to you for that date.
Yeah.
And I think as well, it's also about you starting to think about your cake at that time. So almost once you've done that, you'll start to bring up you know, develop your Pinterest stories.
Yeah. Pinterest will be like ping, 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 ping.
Exactly. And, you know, see them at a wedding fair and you can chat to them again and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And also start to think about, you know, the flavours and how it works. And it's a really important part of the journey that you choose your, you know, all your specialist suppliers quite early on. And you almost become part of each other. You know, we've got some brides that feel like family because everything about them, it's just incredible. So yeah, I think that's that part of it. And then so once it comes to their consultation, Rachel does a sort of a full quotation. We don't do pictures or things like that until they've actually booked. Part of our sort of arrangement.
Sure.
And then they pay a holding deposit, which is guarantees them. Oh, Rachel's just moving the camera a bit. That's it.
Got your full face now. We just had you from there up before.
Which so that they pay a 30% deposit. And hold it, and the balance is due 6 weeks before. But the way we do it is that absolutely everything is in the quote. So that includes, we always set up, we don't have picked up. We include all that in the price. The venue,
that's great.
And make all the arrangements and everything there. And you know, we try and make it that the price is the price that you see, so that people surprises, and that's important.
We don't want any surprises in wedding planning. You want it all to be really open, honest and transparent. No surprises, please.
Absolutely. And then all they have to do after that is find some willing person in the wedding party to get the stand back to us. And then they get their deposit, and that's it, really.
Brilliant.
And then we get the baby cakes and all that sort of thing, and that's the really nice
the next stage in life. Exactly. Moving in and all sorts. So tell me just quickly about the I'm about to lose my train of thought. What was I talking about? So go through the whole process, get your cake, everything's brilliant, and radius, that was it. Where do you cover?
Okay, so we cover, probably our furthest venues are about 40 miles away from here.
Okay.
And we do central London, but we've sort of done places like the Savoy. Absolutely love it. So like that, and you know, for those probably you only do one cake that week. Have that judgment call, because you know take a lot more out of it. You know, the last it was a 2.5 hour journey to get up there. Massive trip, so you've all got
that sounds awful.
But actually it was delightful. It was such a lovely day.
Oh, good.
But I think about a 40-mile radius all out. And we're preferred suppliers at at places like Ashridge. We were at Waddesdon the Dairy. Such a
I know, it's so sad it's gone.
So our dairy brides are all now rebooked elsewhere. But
have they? My heart went out to all of them. That was really tough. So Ashridge we love. Ashridge is a great one. Big high ceilings, as you said. Tell me about some other venues that you're on that preferred supplier list with, and the barns as well.
So the barns, so as well on the sort of the stately home side, we're at De Vere Latimer. A tremendous amount. That's one of our sort of regulars. We're also, from a barn point of view, we're at Littlebrook Manor. Over in Maidenhead, which is probably one of our furthest reaches. We've been with them since before, their first year they went into weddings. And the owners were putting up the lights, on that, and So we've grown with them. So we've got a strong affection for Lilybrook. And
yeah. So does Laura. Is she getting married there? Has she got married there?
She will eventually.
Oh, she will eventually. She's your biggest fan. She's been writing the best comments. I feel like you need to have her as your spokesperson on any PR or social media that you do from now on.
Oh, they're such a lovely couple. So.
Oh, I love that.
So we've got so they're part of heritage venues. So Lilybrook also owns Stanlake Park,
Yeah,
the Vineyard, which again is gorgeous walled gardens, which is where the picture you put up today that was taken in Stanlake.
Brilliant.
Yeah, so that's beautiful as well. And then on the opposite side at Chewinbury.
Okay, yeah.
So those are our 3 barns.
Brilliant.
And really between those venues, and we're also
they must keep you so busy. That's quite a lot of venues to be working with, really.
Yeah, it is actually enough, and
it's enough, no more now.
We've got a couple more we might have our eye on that we're working with, but we haven't suppliers yet, but we are enjoying delivering cakes there, so who knows. But yes,
I love that.
We know, but I think it's having the venues that where people are going to want the cakes that Rachel loves to. And that's
it's finding that match, like you said, your cakes, you know, there's so many different types of wedding cake out there, and it's finding the right people for your cake and the right venue, and for them to be able to find you easily. It's just finding that perfect match to bring everyone together, that it all just is seamless. And as soon as you've got that seamless kind of group, that team, then everything will just be perfect on your wedding day. You won't need to think. You'll just relax and have a wonderful day because you can trust everybody that's working for you.
I think so. And I think also, like at all the venues where a preferred supplier, we know the wedding coordinators for the day, the wedding plan, we work, we know how they work. And when we we just feel confident for our couple as well that they're going to get the absolute best. So we have where we don't think that the couple are going to get what they need. And a couple of venues where we just say, no, it's not for us, because everything's perhaps outsourced there or something like that. That sort of are leading the way. Like at Ashridge, I mean, that is just a phenomenal team. And when we work behind the scenes, and the same with Lilybrook. I mean, we've been behind the scenes at Lilybrook, and it's just like, whoa, you know. So professional, it's beautiful.
That's what you want. That's absolutely what you want, and that's what you're paying for, you know, that incredible service. Definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
Brilliant. And so let's just talk about how people present the cakes. We've talked about dessert stations, and you know, for you and I who live in the world of weddings, it means everything to us, and we totally know what you're talking about. To the layman who may have absolutely no idea what you're chatting about, how do you display your cake? How do you work with all these different options and things? How, you know, what's the way to make sure that, you know, like you said earlier, your cake doesn't get lost in the room, but it is a focal point that is celebrated, you know, it's a point of celebration.
Yeah, this is something that Rachel and I are so passionate about. It's untrue, and we talk about it at every consultation.
Good.
And what's really important is that the expression in here is that we don't want your cake to look like Billy No Mates. Because what is, they turn up as a venue, they'll put a cake in front of a fire exit sign maybe, or an exit door, and venues are strange in that they don't think about that. You know, one of our venues, lights are always wonky on the wall, and we have to go along and straighten the lights up, you know, before we
I love that.
Wonky. But we also think it's really important that the cake has a connection to the rest of your wedding breakfast. So if you use sprinkles, or you've used little candles, or you've used flowers, then bring that into your table for your cake. So, you know, we work really hard to, you know, one of the things when we do the consultation is to say, okay, what's the theme for your wedding? What have you got in there? How do we bring this all together in your cake, so your cake is totally of your day and your story? So that do exactly the same. And it makes such a difference when that happens. It's important that when you're planning your wedding breakfast that you think about, right, where do I want my cake table to go? What's the best place for them to be? And when they carry it onto the dance floor later in the day, as they all do, what do I want that photograph to look like? fan. And one of our top tips is to put somebody in the wedding party, ideally someone who's going to be sober.
Yeah. Or a planner.
Even better, to know what you want for that cake.
Yeah.
So they're almost keeping an eye on it all day. So if you don't want to cut the top tier because you want to
exactly
all together later, that the top tier doesn't get cut. If you only want half cut, if you want it all cut, that they are looking after it. You know, we find with wedding cakes, some people say, "Oh, it never got eaten." Well, it probably half it come out, and it breaks our heart to turn up at a venue and see half a cake. You know, if we've arranged to pick up a stand, and you think, and even worse if the cake's in a fridge. Oh my goodness. Because sponge cake doesn't go in a fridge, and ice cakes don't ever go in a fridge.
No, yeah.
You'll dry them, and venues, you know, don't seem to really always get that. So it's important that someone in your party has got the job of
is responsible for cake. Absolutely.
And
I know
also,
that's one of my first questions I always check with my couples. It's, are we saving the top tier?
I know. People have got this idea, haven't they, that they can save the top tier and freeze it and do all those wonderful things. And of course, it doesn't work like that anymore. Because, you know, we will do it, but it's not great. It's not great. But most couples now just take it home, because most people as their top tier, and then they just take it home and consume it.
Exactly. The amount of energy you need after your wedding is immense, because you are knackered, and so having a good sugar rush is just what you need. So don't hold back on taking cake home. That's definitely for sure.
And also the other thing is that, you know, with all the rulings on things like that, is that we say to people, use your wedding stationery to create your labels for your cake. So if it's coming out on tray as part of your desserts for the evening, then make sure that, you know, the venue haven't just put it out there and people don't know what it is or what's, you know, be in charge. Get yourself some beautiful labels. We've got people in the barns who've done lovely sort of blackboard signs and things like that. Fantastic.
You can really play with that space to make it really fun, can't you?
Yeah, totally. And if the cake table's put by the dance floor, it will all go.
Yeah, exactly. It's so true. You know, as soon as people have had a drink, then cake is definitely their friend. Absolutely. And we've had some funny messages here. We've got Vicky saying that she can't wait for you guys to design her cake for June 22 at Miss and Abbey, another brilliant venue. And then Laura's now said, of course, after the wedding, you don't need to worry about your dress fitting, so you can put on as much weight as you want. So eat all the cake after the wedding. I know on my wedding day, I did not hold back on eating, because I was like, well, I got in the dress, I'm just going to get bigger in it now. That was all that mattered.
I love that. Yeah, Abbey was probably, I think it was the first venue that Rachel became a preferred supplier at.
Oh.
Yeah, and it is lovely. They have a marquee as well, but we tend to always put the cake there in the garden room. And is really beautiful.
Yeah, lovely, good. And one of the favourite questions all of my couples always want to know about is, what kind of flavours do you do? So hit us up with some flavours.
Well, Rachel would say far too many.
Pain in the backside amount.
We keep adding them, and we can't sort of get ourselves to take them off, and we really address that very soon.
Get in there quick, everybody, they're about to change.
So we've I mean, chocolate always seems to be you know, a big thing.
Everyone loves chocolate.
So we do a really gorgeous you know, milk chocolate, but we also do we do a marble cake with chocolate, and Rachel does that either with vanilla or Oreo buttercream.
Okay, wow.
Do chocolate orange is one of our new additions to the range. We do raspberry and white chocolate. Always is. Nutella, we sort of keep thinking we should take Nutella out because we've got, but then somebody goes and orders it. We think, oh,
Nutella is amazing. I mean,
I know. Some of our couples sort of eat it from the jar. Fascinating. We do Bakewell tarts.
Oh, yum.
A lovely vanilla Victoria sponge, which is everything's all natural flavours.
Oh, brilliant.
I'm going blank now. Well, obviously the
lemon. Laura's here to help because she knows everything about the business. Salted caramel. I'm guessing Laura's ordered salted caramel.
It is. It's our best seller. Why did I forget salted caramel? What am I like? Yeah, and the lemons, we do a lemon drizzle, and currently we do a lemon and elderflower as
Oh,
well.
yum. I bet
Yeah.
that's popular for summer weddings.
Yes, it is. It is. But as I say, it's one of the ones we keep saying, well, should we not? But then, yeah, fine.
Laura's saying carrot cake.
Oh,
Is
yeah.
that an option?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. Thank you, Laura. Should we just bring her in?
Yeah, I've done that one, Rachel.
I'm going through the whole list.
She's going through the whole...
But basically, there is a very wide range.
14 flavours.
Oh, wow. That is amazing.
And we get it to 12.
Yeah.
We do.
And do you find most people choose a different flavour for each layer?
Yeah, we do. With the lemon is such a soft cake.
Yeah.
We say it has to be on the top. So it can sometimes be top 2.
Yeah.
Sometimes we just say it's the top cake. So, yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't want a carrot on top of a lemon. Oh, you'd have a disaster.
And it's like the salted caramel. It's sort of the largest it goes up to is about a 9-inch.
Right.
Because the salted caramel that Rachel uses, it's really, really gooey. It is.
It sounds so naughty. It's really exciting.
I mean, really.
Fabulous. Good. Say that again, sorry.
I said I always try and blame Rachel's cake for my weight gain.
Yeah, absolutely. I would. It's all Rachel's fault.
But really like cake, so that's the challenge.
Pretty much everyone I know that makes cake doesn't like cake. It's really strange.
Yeah. A lemon she'll take, but apart from that, she's not bothered at all.
Doesn't want the gooey salted caramel. No.
No.
No. Oh well, down to you. Okay. Well, look, I think that is everything from all the questions that we've had fired at us that everyone will want to know. If anybody wants to get in touch with you direct, well, you are part of Sweet 15, so if anyone's having a smaller intimate wedding, absolutely we can make it happen. Get in touch with me and we will make sure that your intimate wedding has a fabulous cake as part of it. But if people want to get in touch with you directly in order to talk to you about potentially being their cake maker, what's the best way for them to get in touch?
Instagram messaging is a really great way to start, or Rachel at sugardesigns.co.uk on the email. But a lot of our inquiries come in through Instagram. We're on Google Business as well, of course. We've got that on there. Yeah. But find that Instagram, most people start off their story with that. And for all of our venues, we've also got Pinterest boards that are dedicated to...
That's a great idea.
Yeah, it's really fun. And so when people inquire about certain venues, we're able to direct them to the Pinterest board.
Perfect.
So they can see what else that they can do.
Yeah, so really help with that inspiration. That's such a great idea. Well done. Well, look, thank you so much for your time. Huge amounts of good luck to Laura and Vicky, who are hopefully getting married in the next couple of years. Let's pray that it all goes according to plan. And they have the most fabulous cakes from Rachel. And thank you to Rachel in the background for supporting being with
so she just said no.
Oh no, I totally understand. So thank you all so much, and for everyone that joined us, and we will be back soon. Have a great afternoon.
Bye.
Bye.